It's a beautiful morning in the neighborhood. Okay, Nix, go to the bathroom. And off he goes, racing through the neighborhood, until he finds the perfect spot.
Welcome to Yoldai's Pet Corner.
Let's be honest, when you think life-saving hero, a goat is probably not the first animal that comes to mind. They're known for their stubbornness, their uncanny ability to climb anything, and their perpetually unimpressed expressions. Most people think goats just eat everything and silently judge your life choices. And for the most part, they might be right. But this one? This goat made a conscious decision that saved a human life. This isn't a myth or a tall tale. It's a true story, with a real date, real people, and witnesses who saw the aftermath with their own eyes. The story takes us to Snowdonia, Wales, in the biting cold of March 1996. Here, the landscape is a beautiful but brutal mix of steep hills, ancient stone walls, and treacherous ravines. It's a place where the weather can turn in an instant, and where a single misstep can have devastating consequences. And what makes this story so incredible isn't brute strength, or speed, or some kind of specialized training. It's something far more profound: loyalty, awareness, and a choice made in the freezing, unforgiving darkness. On this particular day, a farmer named Noel Osborne was working alone on his land. The air was sharp, biting at his lungs, and a slick layer of frost coated the grass and rock, making the steep terrain even more perilous. Noel wasn't entirely alone, though. He had brought along his trusted companion, a female goat named Mandy. She was more than just livestock. She was a partner, familiar with the rhythms of the farm and the contours of the land. Goats are herd animals, naturally attuned to their environment and the well-being of their companions. They are highly sensitive to changes in behavior, sound, and posture, and can recognize distress, especially in an animal or human they're bonded to. That bond was about to be tested. As Noel navigated the slippery hillside, the unthinkable happened. One wrong step sent him tumbling nearly 100 feet down a steep, rocky ravine. By the time he came to a stop, he was badly injured, broken ribs, internal damage, and completely unable to climb out. Night was falling fast, and with it, the temperature plummeted. Lying broken at the bottom of the ravine, Noel understood a terrifying truth. If no one found him by morning, he wouldn't survive the night. But in that moment of crisis, Mandy made a choice. Instead of panicking or wandering off to find the rest of the herd, she did something extraordinary. She carefully picked her way down the treacherous slope and into the ravine with Noel. This isn't a tragedy. It's a study in connection, a testament to the powerful bond between a human and an animal partner that refuses to leave, even when instinct might scream to flee. Because when panic and fear would make most creatures run for safety, Mandy moved closer. Stay with me to see how a simple goat's instincts, loyalty, and warmth kept a man alive through the longest and coldest hours of his life. In March of 1996, a farmer named Noel Osborne was working alone on his land in the rugged, unforgiving landscape of Snowdonia, Wales. It was a place he knew like the back of his hand, but even familiar ground can hold unexpected dangers. The air was sharp with the lingering chill of winter, a cold that seeped into your bones. The terrain was steep and slick with frost. In a single heart-stopping moment, Noel's footing gave way. He slipped. The fall was brutal and disorienting, a terrifying plunge of nearly 100 feet down a deep, rocky ravine. By the time he came to rest, he was badly injured. With broken ribs, suspected internal injuries, and a shattered pelvis, he was completely unable to climb out. As the last light of day vanished, Noel later said he knew something terrifying. If no one finds me by morning, I won't survive the night. Night was falling, and with it, the temperatures were dropping fast. Alone and exposed, his time was running out. But Noel wasn't completely alone. Earlier that day, he had brought along his goat, a female goat named Mandy. Now here's the important part. Goats are herd animals, but they are also highly sensitive to changes in behavior, sound, and posture. They can recognize distress, especially in animals or humans they're bonded to. Mandy made a choice. Instead of wandering off, instead of panicking, she climbed down into the ravine with no jewel. As night set in, Mandy did something no one expected. She lay directly on top of Noel's body, not once, for hours. Her body heat helped keep his temperature from dropping to fatal levels. She shifted when he shivered, she stayed when the wind howled, and when Noel tried to push her away, worried she'd fall, she refused to move. This wasn't random behavior. Studies show goats can form strong social bonds, and bonded animals often display protective behavior when a companion is injured. Mandy wasn't confused. She was responding to distress, and her presence likely prevented hypothermia, something doctors later said would have killed Noel before morning. As the first rays of dawn broke over the Welsh mountains, a search party, exhausted but determined, scanned the treacherous landscape. Through the lingering mist, they spotted something, a flicker of movement down in the ravine. It was their only lead. Cautiously, they began their descent, following the faint sign of life, unsure of what they would find in the cold, silent canyon below. And there she was, not a wild animal, not a trick of the light, but Mandy the goat, standing guard over Noel. He was barely conscious, his body battered from the fall, but against all odds, he was alive. The sight was surreal, a lone farm animal, a steadfast protector in the middle of nowhere, refusing to leave her human companion's side. The experienced rescue team worked quickly, their voices a mix of urgency and astonishment. They later confirmed what they knew in that moment. Noel's survival was a miracle, and that miracle had a name. One rescuer stated plainly, if the goat hadn't stayed with him through the night, using her body to keep him warm, he wouldn't have made it. Noel survived his ordeal, a testament to his own resilience and the unwavering loyalty of his four-legged friend. But that's not the end of this story. In fact, the rescue was just the beginning, because what happened after Noel was airlifted to safety, what the community did for Mandy in recognition of her heroism, turned this from a simple survival story into something much bigger. It became a story about gratitude, and how one act of animal kindness can inspire a wave of human kindness in return. And that theme of unexpected kindness continues in part 2. But our next hero isn't a farm animal bonded to a human. It's one of the most unlikely protectors in the wild, an apex predator whose instincts are usually geared towards hunting, not helping. We'll journey deep into a remote wilderness to uncover a story that defies our expectations of the natural world. It's a tale of a creature that, when faced with a vulnerable life, made a choice that biologists are still trying to fully understand. This animal showed a hidden side, a capacity for protection, strategy, and incredible restraint, proving that the line between predator and protector can sometimes blur. Thank you for watching the story of Mandy the goat. The incredible conclusion to her tale and the beginning of our next wild adventure is coming up right after this. Don't miss it.
Hi, Dad. I love your stories. And if you at home enjoy them too, please, pretty please hit like and subscribe. It makes me so happy.
Before we begin, thank you, Nix. Good job. You earned that treat. We see compassion in our pets so easily, don't we? A quiet understanding, a comforting presence. It's a bond we recognize and cherish. Now, while Nix enjoys that, let's talk about an animal that doesn't usually get credit for that same kind of empathy. An animal living far from the comfort of our homes. When you picture a sea lion, what comes to mind? For most people, it's the noisy, barking clowns of the coast. Ocean puppies that clap a lot, balance balls on their noses, and maybe steal a fish or two from an unsuspecting tourist. They're seen as performers, a charming but simple part of the seaside scenery. But beneath that playful exterior lies a profound intelligence that we are only just beginning to understand. And in the cold waters of the Pacific, one sea lion did something so unexpected it still leaves marine biologists and scientists quiet. This isn't a story about animal instinct or brute strength. It's a story about a deliberate, inexplicable interruption. The story: San Francisco, California, September 2000. Map Q, U.S., California, Golden Gate Bridge. The city was wrapped in its signature morning fog, a cool, damp veil hanging over the bay. On that day, a 19-year-old man named Kevin Hines walked onto the Golden Gate Bridge. He was in the grip of a deep and painful depression, a darkness that had convinced him there was no other way out. He stood on the edge, looking down at the churning water below. What happened next has been meticulously documented and told in interviews, medical records, and public talks for over 2 decades. It's a story of survival against impossible odds, but the most incredible part isn't what a human did, but what an animal chose to do. Kevin jumped. The fall from the bridge is nearly 220 feet, a 4-second drop at over 75 miles per hour. The impact is catastrophic. Survival is extremely rare. He hit the water and the force shattered several of his vertebrae. The shock and pain were immediate, and he instantly lost control of his body. The powerful, icy current of the San Francisco Bay began to pull him downward, deeper into the dark. And that's when something broke the pattern of physics and despair. Something unexpected happened. Under the surface, shock set in. He could barely move. Lungs burning for air, limbs heavy as lead, his vision narrowing to a pinpoint. Seconds stretched into an eternity as the cold seized his body and the world went quiet, muffled by the immense pressure of the water. He was sinking. Then, a strange steadiness, a firm rhythmic pressure rising through the water. Something nudging him, guiding him, physically keeping him from sinking completely into the abyss. It wasn't the random push of a current. It felt purposeful. He fought to focus, to breathe, to obey that upward pull. His own will was fading, but this external force was relentless. The water roared above and below, a chaotic symphony of his own impact, but he felt it again. A deliberate lift, a brief pause, then another lift. It was a pattern. A presence stayed beneath him, insistent and calm, a living platform refusing to let him go. It was circling, bumping, and holding him at the surface, a guardian against the crushing weight of the ocean. Kevin later said the force came in waves, a powerful, insistent pressure pushing him upward again and again. His mind, reeling from the impact and the icy shock of the water, grasped for an explanation. He thought it must be debris, a stray board from a shipwreck, anything inanimate. But the force was too precise, too steady. It felt almost deliberate, giving him just enough lift to breach the surface, to gasp for precious air before the current could pull him under for good. It was a rhythm of survival, a strange, buoyant dance between sinking and breathing. Each time he broke the surface, coughing and sputtering, he was alone in his struggle. But when he looked toward the bridge, he saw people pointing. Rescuers were closing in, and they all confirmed what his body already knew. He wasn't being pushed by an object. He was being held up by a living creature. A California sea lion had positioned itself directly beneath him. Witnesses watched, stunned, as the sleek, dark shape repeatedly nudged him toward the sky, refusing to let him sink. It wasn't a frantic or aggressive act. It was methodical. The animal circled him, a vigilant guardian, bumping him gently back toward life every time his strength failed. It stayed with him, a constant presence in the cold, chaotic water, holding him at the surface until the Coast Guard boat could finally draw near. Only then, as human hands pulled him from the bay, did his unlikely rescuer disappear back into the deep. Against overwhelming odds he lived, carried to shore, breathing, and forever changed by an interruption he never could have imagined. Now here's where science matters. California sea lions are highly intelligent, extremely social, and quick to investigate distress. They've been seen supporting injured peers with their bodies. But here's the twist. A human isn't in their social group. Still, the response matched protective patterns at the surface. This wasn't play. This was stabilization behavior. Kevin was rescued and hospitalized. He recovered physically, and later dedicated his life to mental health advocacy, openly crediting that moment in the water as the turning point. Not because he survived the fall, but because something interrupted the ending. Here's the quiet truth. The goat from part 1 stayed through the night. The sea lion stayed in the water. Different worlds, different species, same response. Stay, support, don't leave. Sometimes the most powerful help doesn't come from words. It doesn't arrive with a grand plan or a solution. It comes from a presence beside you in the hardest minute, a quiet, stubborn refusal to let you disappear into the noise. It's the silent acknowledgement that you are seen, even when you feel invisible. It comes from presence, steady, uncomplicated, and real. The kind that doesn't flinch or look away. The kind that keeps showing up when you're certain you're out of time, out of chances, out of hope. It's a force that anchors you when everything else is pulling you under. And sometimes, it comes from the animal world when we least expect it. A goat standing guard through a cold night. A sea lion beneath a stranger. A conscious choice made in the freezing water of the Pacific. These aren't just accidents. They are profound acts of connection that defy our understanding. We don't always know why. We can't map the instinct or the empathy that drives such an act. We only know what it does. It interrupts the ending. It shatters the narrative of isolation that tells us we are alone in our struggle. That interruption can be everything. It's one more breath when you thought you'd taken your last. One more chance to find the shore. It creates a path back to the world that didn't exist a moment before. A lifeline thrown from an impossible place. So we remember these stories, not as miracles alone, but as powerful reminders that help can look unfamiliar and still be true. It proves that compassion isn't exclusive to humans. It's a fundamental language of life itself, spoken across boundaries we thought were absolute. Different worlds, different species, same primal response: stay, support, don't leave. It's a simple, unwavering message that echoes from a field at night to the cold depths of the sea. If you feel like you're in the water, literal or not, hold on. The universe has a strange and beautiful way of sending help. Someone or something might already be swimming toward you, so breathe. Remember that presence matters more than anything, and sometimes it comes from the animal world, right when you need it most, reminding you that you are part of something much larger and you are not alone. On behalf of myself, my pups, and my dad, we thank you for watching.
Please remember to like
and subscribe. We get bones.
Christmas may be over, but you know what isn't? Cats and dogs still freezing, still hungry, still waiting. This winter, your local animal shelter needs help more than ever. Please donate today and help keep them warm, fed, and safe.